Hello there, I'm Marcia Chicas and I'm doing my teaching practice at Centro Escolar General Francisco Menendez in Atiquizaya, Ahuachapan with 7th grade students who are at a pre-A1 English level. Now, I invite you to stay with me until the very end of this video because today I will reflect on how artificial intelligence has become my teaching assistant. Let's begin with my AI tools and how I use them. During my teaching practice, I have used ChatGPT as my primary AI tool and sometimes Quillbot as additional support. For example, when I want to create lesson plans, I prompt ChatGPT with specific instructions on what I needed to generate for me. I start by defining the role of the AI. I ask it to create a lesson plan using the PPP method organized into 7 sections: the warm-up, presentation, practice, production, wrap-up, and assessment. I also ask the AI to include the name of each activity, the list of materials, and the step-by-step instructions in the format I always use to keep consistency across all my lesson plans. Within the same prompt, I request a SMART objective and the section, what skills and content are you teaching? Because this helps me connect the activities with the main objective. I also describe my students and classroom context in detail so that the AI can adapt the activities. After that, I set clear limitations. For example, I specify that I don't have technological resources, just flashcards, posters, objects, and a whiteboard. Something important is that I always modify this prompt for every class, depending on whether I am teaching a new topic or reviewing the previous one. This way, the content is always adapted to my students' needs. Besides that, Quillbot supports me by correcting the grammar, spelling, and punctuation of the instructions I write for my lesson plans. Now, let's move on to the positive impact of AI on my teaching practice. Using ChatGPT saves time because I can get a complete lesson plan in just a couple of minutes. It also supports me in setting SMART objectives, creating interactive activities, adapting instructions, and preparing online assessments. Once my lesson plans are ready, I use ChatGPT and Quillbot to proofread and edit the instructions. On the other hand, I have learned that using AI effectively as a teacher depends on the quality of the prompt and my own careful review of the corrections. For example, if I don't have a specific structure, the instructions can be too simple or generic. That's why I ensure to refine my prompts and review what ChatGPT generates. Sometimes I modify the steps to make them more descriptive. Or if an activity is too complex, I rewrite it separately in another prompt. Regarding Quillbot, one limitation I have noticed is that it doesn't recognize some abbreviations that teachers use in lesson plans. For example, I always write SS to refer to students, but Quillbot changes the verbs as if they were singular. That's why I review its corrections manually before accepting them. In the future, I will continue using AI to design lesson plans because it saves time, and I will also use it to create summative and formative activities that address the different learning styles of my students. In this way, they will have the opportunity to learn, practice, and strengthen their 4 English macro skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. However, I will make sure to use well-structured prompts and review the corrections carefully. In conclusion, my main takeaway regarding AI's role in my professional development is that it has become an essential support tool in my teaching journey. AI saves time, but it's important to prompt it with specific details about the purpose, instructions, audience, and limitations of what I needed to generate. The quality of the content will depend on how well I guide this tool. Once I get the input I want, it's my responsibility to review and adapt it to my students' needs and learning styles so that the teaching learning process becomes meaningful, engaging, and equitable for all of them. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.